Now going over to the business blunder of the day, you have Pelton stock nearly crashing 23% last week after the holiday sales came in, and they are not doing great. Now, interestingly enough, let's pull up their long-term stock trend. Oh, if I could spell it, moderately helps. Oh, come on now. Oh, come on. So long-term, and again, the stock went down to about $4.31 per share, which is less than the price of a cup of coffee. Actually, it's like a third of the price of a cup of coffee at Starbucks. But nevertheless, if you look at their long-term trend, over the past 5 years, their stock has lost 82.94%, which is not great. The past year, their stock is down 73.69%. Year to date, granted, only been about a month, it's down 26%. This past 6 months is half off, down 55.03%. Yeah, it is. And then last week went down 26.41% at one point, which is abysmal and scary to say the least if you're an investor there. Now, Pelton was perhaps one of the best companies in terms of going viral and having a huge sales spike during the pandemic lockdowns. They make the very fancy bike where you actually have a little computer screen bolted onto it, and you have an online instructor to help you bike faster, I suppose. I can't help but think it'd probably be worth more if they were to give you a little more feedback, but nevertheless, they encourage you to bike faster. And it was a hit. Thousands, millions of people went out and they bought these things, and these bikes are thousands of dollars. And of course, they have a subscription, which, again, that is the unfortunate, in my opinion, for many things. Everything is as a service, which for business makes sense. It provides you with month-to-month revenue, allows you to reinvest in the company. For these, you can pay more instructors to teach, you can increase the software capabilities, yada, yada. I understand why that's the big trend in business these days. Now, for consumers, do you really want a subscription for a bike? Well, not fewer people these days. Now, they note that they also cut their annual forecast due to the demand faltering. This is thanks to Kaniki Dika over at Yahoo Finance. Now, the company now expects their full year 2024 revenue to be between 2.68 billion and 2.75 billion, down from the previous forecast of 2.7 billion and 2.8 billion. Now, looks like a stock analyst or senior analyst over at Insider Intelligence, Zach Stambler, said, quote, "In lowering its guidance, Pelton is acknowledging that the pivot from the hardware-focused business to a subscription-based business is rocky." Looks like, and in terms of how many subscribers, they noted that the company ended with 3 million connected fitness subscribers in the second quarter, about a 1% increase from a year earlier, above FactSet estimates of 2.99 million. So that is terrible growth. Which, again, silver lining, the user base isn't dramatically decreasing yet. I also can't help but think when times get extremely tough, which I suspect we will have tough times, that's one of the easiest things to trim your budget is the Pelton subscription. Because again, I think there's a couple of free things you can do on the device in terms of you can still bike on it, have like a free workout. You just can't see your instructor tell you to bike faster and encourage you like that. But yeah, I can't help but think that's the easiest thing to cut from your budget. You don't need to see Sally or whoever's on the bike that day. Now, yeah, Sandler also said, quote, "While it delivered better than expected gains in paid connected fitness subscribers, there are plenty of potential speed bumps ahead." They also know that it is also betting on a boost from the reintroduction of a high-end Tread Plus priced at $5,995 2 years after sales were temporarily halted due to safety concerns. So they have a $6,000 treadmill, which, yeah, I would never buy since Peloton is, in my opinion, just overpriced disposable products. Now, incidentally enough, or hilariously enough, ironically enough, they did buy out Precor, which makes what I believe is the best commercial-grade treadmills on the planet, bar none, which is why I have one. And mine is pretty old and still works like a champ, partially because there's very little technology in it, so there's less failure vectors on it for things to go wrong. And again, with 2024, with unprecedented economic uncertainty, political uncertainty, how many people are going out and buying a $6,000? Again, you have to pay sales tax, so really $6,600 plus shipping, maybe $7,000 for a treadmill. That's, again, not commercial grade. I could understand getting a Precor treadmill, which will last you a lifetime. If it's individual use, with proper maintenance, it's going to last you a quarter century, easy. But it'll be interesting to see. They're saying, there's faltering demand. Now, Company says expects the third quarter revenue or come in between 700 million and 725 million. Below the analysts expected 753.8 million. They also noted that revenue fell 6.2% to 743 million, beating expectations. Now, Pelton now expects to generate positive cash flow in Q4, but said it would fall short of achieving positive free cash flow of the full year. And interestingly enough, they are just releasing an option for you to, is it lease to own or just rent a bike? So you just pay a subscription for the software and the hardware. So they'll be interesting to see, but their stock is crashing. They're not looking great. And it is, at the end of the day, a luxury item, which, again, when you're looking at hard times, no one needs a Pelton. There's also competition now. They were an industry leader. They were one of the, that's why they were rewarded by the free market. A lot of people bought them. They were early adopters, and they set the trend. While they may not be, I don't know if they're officially the very first interactive bicycle, they're the first mass-produced one and the best at marketing it. So for all intents and purposes, we'll say the best category. A lot of people say they invented the category of these interactive workout devices. That was a couple years ago. Now they have competition. A lot of the legacy manufacturers, I know Nordic Track introduced their own, as well as, I believe it was Life Fitness and a couple other manufacturers. So now there are other options. At the time, there wasn't. So now you have increased competition, increased economic uncertainty, increased political uncertainty, and you also have a lot of people being laid off too in multiple different business vectors or multiple different industries rather. So it'll be interesting to see, but again, with all the decisions they're making, it certainly isn't going well, and I just can't but think this is going to be a rough year for them, and having their stock crash about 24% in a day last week, that certainly is the business blunder of the day. Thank you, everyone, for taking the time to tune in today. Again, trying to get to 4,000 subscribers by the end of February, so click that button. I greatly appreciate it. Also, leaving a comment and a thumbs up and thumbs down is a great way to give me some additional feedback so I can know how to make the show better and better. Lastly, don't forget to take time to tell your family, tell your friends, tell your coworkers, heck, tell your enemies, tell anyone and everyone. Just stay safe, fight the good fight,